The ability to adjust the provided authorization policy based on location is the first step to providing differentiated access to an endpoint. Depending on the who, what, and where of the endpoint, who the user is, what device they are using, and where on the network they are located, ICE can provide a different authorization policy. Let's revisit the home, office, branch, and campus topology that we just showed a few slides back. I've moved all of the details from the previous chart into a single table, adding a few fields, namely access granted and policy name. For the least secure connection, our security policy allows the home office user access to only email and calendaring. The branch user is granted access to everything except campus printers. The campus user is granted access to everything except branch printers. The policy names that I provided may be the names given to the authorization profiles that we discussed in Lesson 2. How we choose to enforce the policy, i.e., which AV pairs that we choose to use, which ACL we choose to use, which VLAN that we may place the user in, etc., may be slightly different for each scenario and/or may be specific to each NAD. As we discuss the authorization profiles and policy in more detail, differentiated access will become more relevant and more important. This no longer makes a single network device, such as an edge router or VPN endpoint, as being responsible for the security enforcement. In this case, the network is the enforcement point for BYOD. Now that we've discussed what is required or optional and how it can affect our BYOD deployment, let's go ahead and add a device to the ICE. Before we actually add the NAD to ICE, we'll first configure a device location and a device type. To access the network device groups, you must go to Administration, Network Resources, Network Device Groups. As I expand the groups, all device types, and all locations, you can see that I've already added several types and locations already to this ICE. If I further expand these groups, you will quickly see that this is hierarchical in nature. Later, as we leverage this information within our authorization policy, a device can be classified based on its own group or the parent or grandparent group that it is under. I'll quickly demonstrate how to add an item to the all device types and all locations. I'll also create a new device group that can also be used for your own custom purpose. In this case, what state that the device is located in. This new group will be used strictly for administrative purposes and will not be used in any security policy. With the groups expanded already, I'll select the all device types. As I do so, you'll see that I already have two groups defined here, switch and wireless controller. I'm going to click the green Add to add a new device type. The device type that I will add is router. You can choose to add a description if you need to, but router is self-explanatory. Once I click Submit, it will take me back to the All Device Types screen. I could repeat this process at any point in the All Device Types tree to create my device hierarchy. Similarly, with the group still expanded, I can select all locations and add a new location. In this scenario, I've already added branch and home office. I'll go ahead and add a new group location called campus. First, click the green Add. For the name, we'll put campus. This time, I'll add a description for campus. A device located within the campus infrastructure. And click Submit. Finally, let's add a new group of our own choosing. As above, I decided that the group that I will add is the state that the device is located in. To add the new group, click on the group's icon in the left-hand pane. As in the other examples, we're again going to click on Add. We will now have 3 fields to fill in since this is at the top of the hierarchy. For the name, we'll put all states to remain consistent with the other groups. For the description, the state where a device is located. For the type, we'll choose state, as all subgroups are going to be a state. I'll also quickly add a state under the All States group. Let's add Ohio with a description of Go Buckeyes. To add a device to ICE, first go to Administration, Network Resources, Network Devices. Click the green Add. As you can see here, all the required fields are denoted with the star. For the name, I'll provide BYOD-switch. For the IP address, I'll put 192.168.205.2 with a /32 netmask. This is the loopback address for the switch. If I wanted to add another IP address, I could do so by clicking the arrow here on the right and insert new row below. For the model name, I'll freeform type Cisco 3750. And it is running software version 15.0. For the device type, I'm actually going to select switch as the device type as I'm using the layer 2 ports for my wired connection during this lab. For the location, I'm choosing campus, and for states, I'm choosing Ohio. I could also just leave either or all of these groups as default. Finally, I'll put a check in the box next to Authentication Settings. I'm going to use a simple shared secret without key wrap for this switch. After I completed the shared secret, I'll click Submit. During this section, we covered adding the NAS to the ICE. We also discussed the beginnings of differentiated access for BYOD based on the device location and device groups. We'll build on this concept more in future lessons. This concludes Lesson 3 of the BYOD live lessons. I look forward to seeing you in Lesson 4.